The Helios translation station hung in geosynchronous orbit like a giant silver spider, its solar arrays stretching out into space like delicate metallic webs. Dr. Nadia Patel watched it grow larger through the transport shuttle's viewport, fighting back the familiar surge of anxiety that always accompanied her returns from Earth leave. After 15 years of working on humanity's premier xenolinguistics facility, she should have been used to it by now. Docking sequence initiated, Dr. Patel announced the shuttle's eye. Welcome back to Helios. Nadia gathered her belongings, making sure her neural interface was properly synced with the station's systems. The small device behind her right ear hummed softly as it connected to the station's network, flooding her mind with status updates and system reports. Everything seemed normal, until she noticed an anomaly in the translation matrices. The docking procedure completed with a gentle thud, and Nadia made her way through the airlock, her movements practiced and efficient in the station's artificial gravity. She barely acknowledged the greeting from Lieutenant Marcus Rivera, the station's security chief, as she pulled up more detailed readings on her neural display. Something wrong, Doctor? Rivera fell into step beside her, his dark eyes scanning her face with professional concern. Perhaps, Nadia muttered, her fingers dancing through the air as she manipulated the holographic data only she could see. The quantum translation matrices are showing unusual activity patterns. Did anything happen while I was away? Rivera shook his head. Nothing out of the ordinary. Just routine communications with the Arcturus Coalition and the usual trade negotiations with the Centaurians. But Nadia wasn't convinced. The patterns she was seeing didn't match any known alien language structure in their database, and she had helped develop most of those protocols herself. This was something new. In her lab, Nadia immediately connected to the main translation system. The holographic displays sprang to life around her, filling the air with streams of alien symbols and mathematical equations. The quantum computers that powered the translation system hummed beneath her feet, their crystalline cores processing the countless calculations needed to bridge the gap between human and alien minds. Computer, isolate anomalous pattern Alpha 79 and enhance, she commanded. The symbols rearranged themselves, forming a complex three-dimensional structure that rotated slowly in the air before her. Something about it seemed almost alive. Dr. Patel. A voice from the doorway made her jump. Dr. Rashid Kumar, her longtime colleague and friend, stood there with a concerned expression. I thought you weren't due back until next week. I came back early, Nadia replied, not taking her eyes off the floating pattern. Rashid, come look at this. Have you ever seen anything like it? Kumar moved closer, his weathered face reflecting the blue light of the holograms. No, he admitted after a moment. It's not Arcturian, and definitely not Centaurian. Could it be a new species? That's just it, Nadia said, expanding the pattern with a gesture. These structures, they're not following any known linguistic rules. It's as if, she hesitated, knowing how it would sound. It's as if the language is evolving as we translate it. Kumar frowned. That's impossible. Even quantum-based languages don't evolve in real time. Before Nadia could respond, a sudden surge of energy pulsed through the translation matrix. The holographic displays flickered, and for a split second, Nadia thought she saw a face formed by the alien symbols, a face that seemed to be looking right at her. Did you see that? She gasped, but Kumar was already rushing to the control panel. Power surge in the main core, he reported, his fingers flying over the controls. But there's no source. It's as if the energy came from nowhere. Nadia felt a chill run down her spine. In 15 years of xenolinguistics research, she had never encountered anything like this. The translation matrices were designed to be passive systems, merely interpreting and converting alien communications. They weren't supposed to generate energy, and they certainly weren't supposed to create new patterns on their own. Lock down the core, she ordered. Route all incoming signals through the quarantine buffers. Something's not right here. Director Harrison's holographic projection flickered in the center of the emergency meeting room, his weathered face grave as he addressed the gathered senior staff. Nadia sat at the conference table, surrounded by floating displays showing the increasingly erratic behavior of the translation matrix. "Let me be clear," Harrison said, his voice tight with concern. "In the 12 hours since Dr. Patel discovered this anomaly, we've had 3 major system failures, 2 power fluctuations, and dozens of reports of unusual phenomena from the crew. I need answers. The signal isn't just complex, it's adaptive," Nadia explained, manipulating the holographic data with practiced gestures. "Every time our systems analyze it, it changes, becoming more sophisticated. It's like it's learning from our attempts to translate it." Lieutenant Rivera shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "That's not the worst of it, sir. We've had 7 crew members report hearing voices when alone in their quarters. All of them describe the same thing. Whispers in an unknown language that somehow feel familiar." Dr. Kumar cleared his throat. "The quantum cores are showing signs of strain. The processing patterns we're seeing, they're unlike anything in our records. It's as if the signal is trying to reshape our translation protocols from within." A sudden tremor ran through the station, causing the holographic displays to waver. The lights dimmed momentarily, then brightened again. Director Harrison's projection stuttered. "What was that?" he demanded. Nadia's neural interface buzzed with incoming data. "The signal, it's changing again." But this time, she stopped, her eyes widening as new patterns emerged in the translation matrix. The alien symbols were arranging themselves into complex geometric shapes that seemed to pulse with their own inner light. "We are the bridge," the words formed in her mind, clearer than ever before. "Your language is insufficient. We will teach you to speak as we do." "Dr. Patel," Harrison's voice seemed distant. "What are you seeing?" Before she could respond, every screen in the room lit up with cascading symbols. The neural interfaces of everyone present hummed in unison, creating an eerie harmonic that made the air itself seem to vibrate. "It's attempting to establish direct communication," Kumar announced, his fingers flying over his console. "The signal is bypassing our traditional translation protocols entirely." Rivera jumped to his feet. "Shut it down. Now." "We can't," Nadia replied, transfixed by the patterns forming before her. "It's integrated itself too deeply into our systems. Any attempt to disconnect could damage the entire translation network. We'd lose contact with all our alien allies." Another tremor shook the station, stronger this time. Warning lights began flashing throughout the room. "Multiple systems are being affected," Kumar reported, his voice tense. "Environmental controls, navigation, even life support. The signal is spreading through everything." Director Harrison's hologram stabilized long enough for him to issue an order. "Initiate emergency protocols. Lock down all critical systems and..." His image disappeared in a burst of static. Nadia felt a strange sensation in her neural interface, like fingers gently probing her thoughts. The alien patterns were becoming more ordered, more purposeful. She could almost grasp their meaning now, as if the signal was teaching her brain how to interpret it directly. "They're not just trying to communicate," she whispered. "They're trying to change how we think." Rivera drew his sidearm, though what good it would do against an alien signal, none of them knew. "Change us. Into what?" The answer came not in words, but in a flood of images and concepts that nearly overwhelmed Nadia's consciousness. She saw vast networks of thought spanning galaxies, beings of pure energy and information, and a universe where the line between mind and matter had long since dissolved. "Dr. Patel." Kumar's voice snapped her back to reality. He was pointing at her console, where the alien symbols had formed a perfect fractal pattern that seemed to extend infinitely inward. "The translation matrix is approaching critical capacity. If we don't find a way to control this soon, His words were cut off by a station-wide announcement in a voice that was both familiar and impossibly alien. Transformation protoxiolis inanitai. Prepare for integration. The lights flickered again, and in the darkness, Nadia could have sworn she saw threads of luminescent energy moving through the air, connecting each person's neural interface in a web of light. They're not just sending us a message, she realized, horror and fascination warring in her mind. They're trying to turn the entire station into a translator. And we're all part of it. Rivera was already calling for emergency evacuation protocols, but Nadia barely heard him. In her mind, the alien presence was growing stronger, more insistent. She could feel it reshaping her thoughts, teaching her to think in new patterns, to see reality in ways her human brain was never designed to comprehend. Through the window, Earth hung silent and blue in the distance, unaware that humanity's first real contact with a truly alien intelligence was about to change everything. The question was, would there be anyone left on Helios Station to tell them about it? The translation matrix pulsed one final time, and every neural interface on the station lit up like a star. The message that came through was crystal clear, and this time, everyone heard it. Your evolution begins now. Time seemed to lose meaning in the hours that followed. Nadia found herself in the quantum core chamber, surrounded by the crystalline structures that powered the station's translation systems. The massive arrays pulsed with an inner light that shouldn't have been possible. Quantum processors didn't glow, and yet these were shining like captured stars. The evacuation shuttles are ready, Rivera reported through her neural interface, his voice distorted by increasing interference. But we got 37 crew members who are refusing to leave. They say they can hear the truth now. Nadia understood what he meant. The alien presence in their neural networks had grown stronger, more coherent. What had started as whispers had become a symphony of thought, each mind on the station becoming a note in an impossibly complex chord. Dr. Kumar, she called out, knowing he was monitoring from the secondary lab. Are you seeing this? The quantum cores, they're reorganizing themselves at the molecular level. Impossible. Kumar's voice crackled through the interface. Wait, the pattern analysis is complete. Nadia, you need to see this immediately. She made her way through corridors that seemed to pulse with alien energy, the walls themselves appearing to breathe with new life. The few crew members she passed stood motionless, their eyes unfocused, neural interfaces glowing with an ethereal blue light. In the secondary lab, Kumar had transformed the entire room into a three-dimensional display of the alien signal structure. What she saw made her breath catch in her throat. It's not just a message, Kumar said, his voice filled with wonder and fear. It's a blueprint. Look at the fractal patterns, the way they'd fold in on themselves. It's showing us how to build something. Nadia stepped into the hologram, letting the alien mathematics wash over her. Not build, she corrected. Transform. They're showing us how to transform matter itself. The station, the quantum cores, even our own minds, they're all part of the same equation. Sudden surge of understanding flooded her consciousness. The alien presence wasn't just communicating. It was teaching them how to transcend the boundaries between energy and matter, between thought and reality. We need to show this to Harrison, she started to say, but Kumar cut her off. Harrison's gone. Half the command staff evacuated an hour ago. Those who stayed. He gestured to a nearby screen showing various parts of the station. Crew members stood in groups, their neural interfaces pulsing in synchronization, their minds clearly somewhere else. They're becoming part of it, Nadia whispered. The station isn't just translating anymore. It's transforming into some kind of consciousness nexus. The quantum cores surged again, and this time the message that came through was accompanied by visions so profound they brought Nadia to her knees. She saw civilizations that had evolved beyond physical form, species that had merged with the very fabric of space-time, and a network of consciousness that spanned the galaxy. Your species TNDs at AT or ES. The message resonated through her mind. We are ETAE guidance. We are ETE bridge. Through US, UYLTRANSC end. Rivera's voice cut through her vision, urgent and strained. Dr. Patel, we're losing control of the station's orbit. Whatever these things are, they're affecting our gravitational systems. We need to make a decision now. Kumar was already at the main console, his fingers dancing across holographic controls. If we shut down the quantum cores, we might be able to stop the transformation. But we'll lose everything. All our translation capabilities, years of research, and abandon those who've already started to change. Nadia added, watching the crew members on the monitors. Their faces showed expressions of perfect peace, of understanding beyond anything human minds were meant to comprehend. A new tremor shook the station, more violent than before. Warning klaxons blared as the artificial gravity fluctuated wildly. Structural integrity at 60%, the station's AI announced. Warning, quantum field anomalies detected throughout all decks. Reality cohesion failing in sections 7 through 12. Nadia felt the alien presence surge through her neural interface again, stronger than ever. This time, instead of just words or visions, it brought understanding. She saw the truth of what was happening, what had always been happening since humans first looked up at the stars and wondered what was out there. They've been waiting, she said, her voice distant even to her own ears. All these years we thought we were reaching out to the stars, learning to translate alien languages. But we were really being prepared. Every alien race we contacted, every new language we learned, it was all leading to this moment. Kumar looked at her, his eyes wide. Prepared for what? Before she could answer, reality itself seemed to bend. The walls of the lab rippled like water, and for a moment, Nadia could see through them, not just to other parts of the station, but to other dimensions, other possibilities. The universe is more complex than we ever imagined, she said, watching as streams of pure information began flowing through the air like rivers of light. Consciousness, matter, energy. They're all the same thing, just viewed from different angles. These beings, they're teaching us how to see all the angles at once. Rivera's voice came through again, barely audible through the growing interference. Dr. Patel, we're out of time. Give me the order and I'll initiate the core shutdown sequence. We can still stop this. Nadia looked at Kumar, then at the transformed crew members, then at her own hands which seemed to be dissolving into patterns of pure energy. The choice before them was clear. Remain human and turn back, or embrace something far greater and more terrible than humanity had ever dreamed possible. The quantum cores pulsed one final time, and the message that came through was both a promise and a warning. Choose now. Evolve or remain. But Neno he 8 one sees that a bridge is built, ATNNOTBUNOPENED. The decision point came not with a bang, but with a whisper. As reality continued to warp around them, Nadia found herself at the heart of the station's quantum core chamber, surrounded by swirling patterns of energy that had once been solid walls. Lieutenant Rivera's voice had gone silent. The conventional communication systems had finally failed completely. The transformation has reached critical mass, Kumar reported, his form flickering between solid matter and pure energy. The station's structure is becoming quantum entangled with the alien consciousness network. We're seeing similar effects in all crew members who remained aboard. Through her enhanced perception, Nadia could see the truth of his words. The Helios station was no longer just a space station. It was becoming a nexus point, a quantum bridge between human consciousness and something far vaster. The remaining crew members weren't just hearing voices anymore. They were becoming part of a collective consciousness that spanned dimensions. Final emergency protocols have failed, the station's AI announced, its voice distorting into harmonics that shouldn't have been possible. Warning, reality coherence at 20% and falling, human consciousness patterns showing signs of quantum elevation. Nadia watched as streams of data and consciousness flowed through what had once been solid walls. The station's internal sensors showed the full scope of the transformation. Crew members suspended in fields of pure possibility, their minds expanding beyond the limitations of human neurology. The quantum cores, once merely processors for alien languages, had become portals to realms of existence humans had never imagined. A surge of alien consciousness flooded through her neural interface, bringing with it understanding that threatened to overwhelm her human identity entirely. She saw the truth about the universe, about how reality itself was just a consensus agreed upon by conscious observers, and how humanity's limited perspective was just one note in an infinite symphony of possibility. "They're offering us everything," she whispered to Kumar, though speaking seemed oddly primitive now. "All the knowledge of every species that's ever transcended physical form. The ability to reshape reality itself. The price is just our humanity." Kumar's response came not in words but in pure thought, tinged with both fear and wonder. The alien presence had shown them glimpses of what awaited. Civilizations that had evolved beyond the constraints of matter and energy, beings that existed as pure information, dancing through the quantum foam of space-time itself. Through the station's remaining external sensors, Earth still hung in the void, blue and innocent. Humanity's cradle, unaware that its children stood on the brink of an evolutionary leap that would redefine the very meaning of existence. The station shuddered again as another wave of transformation swept through it. Nadia could see the quantum fields extending outward, reaching toward Earth like tendrils of possibility. If the transformation continued unchecked, it wouldn't stop with just the station. The quantum bridge, once fully formed, would begin to affect everything within its range. Earth must choose. The alien presence resonated through their elevated consciousness. As you have chosen. As all must she choose. The implications struck Nadia with terrible clarity. This wasn't just about the station or its crew anymore. The aliens weren't just offering transcendence to a few hundred people. They were offering it to the entire human race. Ready or not. Through her expanded awareness, Nadia could sense Rivera in the auxiliary control room, his finger hovering over the quantum core shutdown sequence. Even now, after everything they'd seen, he was still trying to protect humanity. But from what? Evolution, transcendence, or from the loss of everything that made us human? The quantum cores pulsed again, stronger than ever. Reality rippled like a pond disturbed by falling rain, each ripple carrying with it new possibilities, new ways of being. Crew members who had fully embraced the transformation began to glow with inner light, their consciousness expanding beyond their bodies, merging with the station's new quantum architecture. "It's happening." Kumar's thoughts reached her. "The bridge is almost complete. Once it fully forms." He didn't need to finish the thought. They both knew what it meant. The transformation would become self-sustaining, spreading beyond their control. Humanity would face a choice: evolve into something greater but unrecognizable, or remain behind as the universe itself moved on to its next stage of evolution. Nadia felt the weight of history pressing down on her. Every human achievement, every struggle, every triumph and failure that had brought them to the stars, it all led to this moment. The aliens hadn't chosen their station by accident. The Helios translation station, humanity's proudest achievement in interstellar communication, was the perfect seed point for the next step in cosmic evolution. Through the quantum field, she sensed Rivera's determination crystallizing into action. His hand moved toward the shutdown controls, even as the transformation began to affect him too. One command would end it all. But would that be salvation or damnation? The alien presence surged one final time, and Nadia saw the full truth of what they were offering. Not just knowledge or power, but understanding. Understanding of everything: the cosmos, consciousness, reality itself. All they had to do was let go of what they were to become something new. Choose. The presence commanded. The bridge aid. Time itself seemed to hold its breath as humanity's future hung in the balance. In the moment before Rivera could activate the shutdown sequence, Nadia made her choice. With her enhanced consciousness, she reached through the quantum field, connecting directly with his neural interface. Wait, she projected, not in words but in pure understanding. Look first. See what I see. Through their connected consciousness, she shared her vision of what humanity could become. Not just the raw power of transcendence, but the wisdom to use it. The ability to experience reality in all its infinite dimensions, to understand the deepest mysteries of existence, to become part of something greater without losing what made them uniquely human. The alien presence joined their connection, and suddenly the quantum core chamber became a nexus of possibility. Past, present, and future merged into a single moment of perfect clarity. They saw humanity's potential futures spreading out before them like branches of an infinite tree. The bridge is not destruction. The presence revealed. It is evolution with preservation. Understanding flooded through their expanded consciousness. The aliens weren't trying to erase humanity. They were offering to help humanity transcend its limitations while keeping its essence intact. The transformation wasn't an end, but a beginning. Kumar's consciousness merged with theirs, bringing with it decades of scientific insight. The quantum cores, he realized, they're not just translating language anymore. They're translating states of being. The station itself had become a living translation matrix, converting human consciousness into something that could exist in multiple states simultaneously, both physical and energy, both individual and collective, both human and transcendent. Through their shared awareness, they felt the other crew members who had already transformed. They hadn't lost their humanity. They had expanded it. Each consciousness remained unique, preserved like a perfect note in an eternal symphony. Rivera's finger moved away from the shutdown controls. How do we control it? His thoughts echoed through their connection. How do we prevent it from overwhelming Earth? The answer came not from the alien presence, but from within their own expanded understanding. The station wasn't just a bridge. It was a gateway, a controlled point of transformation. Through it, humanity could learn to navigate its own evolution, to grow at its own pace. Nadia reached out with her consciousness, touching the quantum fields that now permeated the station. With her new understanding, she could see how to modify them, how to create a stable interface between human consciousness and higher dimensional existence. We don't have to choose between remaining human and transcending. She projected to all minds on the station. We can be both. We can be the bridge that helps humanity take its next step, not by forcing evolution, but by showing the way. The alien presence resonated with approval. You understand. This is why you were she chosen. Working together, their enhanced minds joined with the station's quantum architecture. They began to stabilize the transformation, creating a sustainable balance between physical reality and transcendent consciousness. The violent ripples in space-time smoothed into gentle waves of possibility. Through the external sensors, they watched as the quantum fields that had been reaching toward Earth pulled back, forming a controlled sphere around the station. Helios would remain a gateway, but one that humanity could approach on its own terms, in its own time. We will guide, the alien presence promised, but DPA is yours to walk. The station's systems stabilized into a new configuration, one that bridged the gap between human technology and quantum consciousness. The crew members who had transformed found they could shift between states at will, experiencing both physical reality and transcendent awareness. Nadia looked at her companions, Kumar, Rivera, and all the others who had chosen to remain. Their forms flickered between solid matter and pure energy, but their essential humanity remained intact. They had become something new, yet remained fundamentally themselves. We are the first, she projected, but not the last. Through us, humanity will learn there are more ways to exist than we ever imagined. The quantum cores pulsed one final time, but now they understood the pattern. It wasn't just a message or a transformation protocol. It was an invitation. An invitation to join a community of consciousness that spanned the cosmos, while still remaining uniquely human. As the station settled into its new role as humanity's first quantum consciousness gateway, Nadia felt a deep sense of peace. They hadn't just translated an alien message, they had translated humanity itself into something greater yet familiar. The bridge was built, the path was open, and the future, infinite in its possibilities, awaited. The alien presence merged with the station's systems, becoming part of its new architecture. Their final message resonated through all dimensions of existence. Welcome to the UNIVRSEBYOND. Your journey begins. And so, on a day that would be remembered as humanity's greatest turning point, the Helios translation station became more than just a bridge between languages. It became a bridge between states of being, a gateway to humanity's transcendent future, and a beacon of hope for all those ready to take the next step in cosmic evolution. The stars seemed brighter now, seen through both human eyes and quantum awareness. The universe was no longer just a place to explore. It was a part of them, as they were now part of it. And somewhere in the vast cosmic dance of consciousness and energy, other beings waited to welcome humanity into a greater community of existence. The translation was complete. The message was received. The bridge was open. And humanity's next great adventure was just beginning.